Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever episode of the Vertical Play Podcast. I am joined here by my co-host Adantani Lamb, and I am Mopsky. This podcast is going to be mainly focused on Rainbow Six Siege, a bit of a mixture between esports and normal Siege. So we have quite a few talking points on the docket for today, and I'm pretty excited to get this going. So, Don, we are both streamers. We both exist in the streaming space on Twitch, and we decided kind of to do this podcast in lieu of the Hot Breach podcast kind of disappearing off the face of the planet. So
rest in peace.
RIP. So we're kind of trying to fill up this void, and kind of bring a different swing in it. Coming from like a streamer's perspective instead of maybe like YouTubers. Also from like a little bit more of an esports side, I think, is kind of what we're shooting for as well. So that's kind of just a brief explanation, just to kind of go into like we do this under the brand that we're working on right now called Iron Mountain. Basically, what Iron Mountain is a community-run org. It's completely free for everyone, but yeah, it's a community-run org where content creators come in and they have like resources and other creators to collaborate under. And then we also run an esports team under that name as well. So it's just kind of a combination of fans and content creators and a team to kind of back ourselves on. So that's kind of the idea there. Besides that, I think that's all the intro we needed to get out of the way. Let us shoot into the first topic we have here for this week's session. First of all, let's talk about the new season that just dropped a couple of weeks ago. Don, what are your first impressions on the season?
I'm having a great time. I really am. New operators, they seem good. I would say Callie is definitely not as terrifying, in my opinion, as everyone predicted her to be. I was expecting some sort of like terrifying monster of an operator, and I don't see it.
I definitely have to agree. There have been a couple times where it is frustrating to be in a state, especially if you're a slower operator, I'd say. So someone like in the 3 armor area, it's definitely more frustrating to get in a situation where you're chunky, it's already slow to move, and Callie just gets a random shot on you from somewhere. That's really frustrating, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily overpowered like a lot of people were calling. It is useful. It is very useful. But I don't think people are using it to its true potential yet. I just think that people are trying to get frags, but I think that there's really like something to be said about the sightlines that she can open up, even if she opens up sightlines for another operator, like, and moves on to the next site or moves on to the next spot. Like, that's definitely super powerful.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think it really comes down to hitting her shots. I mean, I actually uploaded a clip today of me peeking her with the SMG-11 and winning the fights. Because if she can't hit her shots, that reload takes for like to get that second shot down range takes forever.
Yeah, I was just playing Border before you hopped on, and I peeked her because I knew that her reload was going to take too long and just demolished her. I think I had like the like the K1A or something like that. So yeah, it all comes down to you don't want to put her on somebody who can't hit their shots.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I can't speak obviously on like a competitive professional level. Maybe when she hits pro league, she's going to be terrifying, but the ranks that I'm playing, the mid to high gold, she's not that scary.
Where people are mostly making their listen, my joke with Callie is we're back at 2012 where snipers are cool again and montages are going to be coming out like crazy. COD's popular again. Guys, what year is it?
So many, like no scope, 3.
Yeah, exactly. I want a good quality montage with like heavy metal in the background with Callie just popping shots left and right, like no scopes and stuff. I'm waiting for it. It'll be perfect. But
yeah, utility is kind of frustrating when you're bandit tricking. I ran into that the other day because you actually take damage from it too. Not a whole lot, but like enough to where you gotta be careful. And it's definitely hard to do the bandit tricks when they have Thatcher and Callie applying that pressure. So, but I again don't think it's broken though.
No, I think we're running. I think the only issue with it is we're gonna run into a situation where it's like, when Legion and Ella came out, and they were all saying about the trap meta, where it's like you get hit by a Legion, and then you get hit by a Frost, and then you get hit, and then a Goose behind it, and it hits you again, and you're getting hit with that Ella all the time, and everyone was complaining about that. It's almost getting that way with like bandit tricking, where it's like you're bandit, you're getting set up on your battery, but there's a Twitch drone off to the side, there's a Kelly hitting the bottom, there's a Thatcher who's throwing in an EMP after it. So it's getting to the point where if you want to do something, and I don't think this is a bad thing either. I think this is actually pretty good. Where if you want to do something, you can throw enough utility to make it happen regardless. So if you have somebody on the enemy team who's really good at bandit tricking and you really want to get a wall open, you take Twitch, you take Callie, you take Thatcher, you even take like a Zofia or Ashe to go up underneath. Like, you will get that wall open if you're trying hard enough. So I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing, but it's definitely a shift away from, like, I think even up until now, reinforced walls were somewhat of a hard stop for people. Even though we had hard breachers in the game, they could be reasonably stopped with like the proper pressure applied to the wall. So with like Cades and Bandits and Mute and things like that.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the pros are going to use her, if they will at all. That's always the big question, right?
It is. You're right, and they're gonna bring
different
like
level of balancing there.
They're gonna bring something totally new to the table, and I mean that's the way it was with Gridlock earlier this year. Everyone was unsure of how Gridlock was gonna be played. She wasn't really played outside of like very low gold ranked and things like that. But then as soon as people were bringing in especially G2 playing with her on Cafe, really showing what Gridlock can do, that's really when people started picking her up for a more I would say like half support, like a good flex role is where Gridlock sits. But yeah,
I slept on Gridlock. I thought she was trash.
Oh yeah,
trash,
oh yeah.
I really was like unimpressed. I was like, this operator is not much.
Well, everyone was on Mozzie, right? Like Mozzie had like the perfect kit, and everyone thought he was the best operator. And then G2 comes in there with Gridlock, and they're like, nah, you don't even know the half of it. So
G2 said, yeah.
Listen, that's the only.
Callie,
it's only one. It's only one of the. It's one of like only two good things that G2's done this season, this year. Let's be honest, but I'm sure we'll get into that later.
Yeah. We can't not get into that later.
Oh yeah.
And then of course her secondary is solid. The CZ75.
Except the Iron Sights. The Iron Sights are awful.
Yeah, those are pretty bad.
But I mean, you're right. It is a pretty solid. Like the kick's pretty much vertical, which makes it nice to deal with. Yeah, I don't really have any complaints. I think maybe it's a little overpowered for her to have a full auto secondary. That'd be the one place where I really have a complaint. But besides that, I really don't care.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Wamai?
So I was playing Wamai for the first time, at least in the live build, earlier today, and if you play him kind of as a mixture of like a really almost a mixture of like Jaeger and Legion, like a really aggressive Legion, where it's like you can pick fights because you have a gun that can do that, but also understand that you have to continue to build up your gadgets over time. You are a force to be reckoned with. The only problem is, when you're not playing like higher levels of play, people aren't necessarily throwing grenades before they enter rooms. So they're not throwing frags, they're not throwing flashbangs. I feel like they throw flashbangs a little bit more, but people who play frags forget they have them on the lower ends of play, like casuals and low gold and things like that. It's a little rough in that sense because people, you get no use out of his utility if they aren't throwing grenades. But I mean, when you're talking like high golds, plats, all that kind of stuff, like they're obviously going to be using grenades to clear you out, like use actual utilities. So no, I think that Wamai's a very good operator. I think they balanced him well. I don't think he's necessarily a Jaeger replacement as much as he is just an alternative.
Yeah, I definitely don't think he's a Jaeger replacement at all. And I think the key difference is Jaeger actually gets rid of the gadget. Wamai relocates the gadget. Like as a Jaeger, the ADS will destroy the flash, the frag, whatever. They don't actually get any use out of it. But with Wamai, it could catch it. You could still end up being flashed. If you're at the bad place at the wrong time, you could still end up getting fragged. I was in one match. I was playing Wamai, and I set it up on like the door frame. And I didn't realize this, but Gridlock's ability gets hit by the Wamai, and of course it still deploys. So I
Hmm.
mean, it's yeah, I didn't realize that, but it definitely does. So it
There,
doesn't. I mean, it doesn't actually destroy the utility. It just moves it and relocates it to where you, I guess, want it to go.
yeah, and there's a level of creativity that Jaeger doesn't have in that, where it's like, okay, so I can almost do like a Valkyrie move, right? Like I can chuck this outside the door, and then somebody's trying to throw a grenade in, and it sticks to the wall behind him and blows them up instead. I've actually seen a couple plays like that.
Oh, have you? I was waiting to see those.
Oh yeah, I mean like this first season where he's out, it's gonna be rampant. It's just like when Mozzie first came out, like drones were getting picked up left and right, but now like it's very rare that somebody will actually run into a Mozzie. But yeah, I mean like he's definitely in a place where you can be a little bit more creative with him than Jaeger, which is why I picked him right away instead of Callie. I just wanted like that creative option. I'm thinking like how many places on Border you could just chuck it outside on that outside wall where people play all the time and just like get a frag caught behind them or something like that. Like it'll be awesome.
Yeah, because it makes no noise, right? Like it doesn't like give like an indicator like a nomad or anything. I don't
I
think,
don't
does
think
it?
it makes a noise, but I mean, outside it does stand out if you're looking for it. It's got like, it's pretty bright. It doesn't blend into a lot of like outdoor environments. Um, but I mean, if you're not looking for it, or if you find a place where it blends, or you chuck it far enough, because it has a crazy, insane range.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I don't think that'll be a problem at all.
And his loadout, I mean, I feel like out of the two operators, I think he's going to be the one that's going to give people more trouble and be, I don't want to say overpowered, but stronger. I mean, he has a deployable shield. That AUG
Mm-hmm.
is a solid weapon. And people didn't exactly cry about the what is it MP5K, like when
Mm-hmm.
before Mute had the SMG11, like people still played Mute. They were happy with that weapon also. I mean, it's a good loadout.
Yeah, the MP5K is really good, but I mean the AUG is it's like the flashier gun, right? It's like I can bring my attacker skins and stuff that I would never had access to before. I can actually bring them to a defense operator, which is actually kind of nuts. But I mean it works, right? Because like Jaeger's 416 is essentially an attacker weapon, so I mean Nox should have got that, but that's just me. Um, but yeah, no, I mean like
Something.
yeah, she definitely needs some help. I think they really made a solid where it's like, okay, so Jaeger's off the board. Say Jaeger gets banned or something like that. Jaeger's off the board. Wamai is a good alternative to Jaeger. Like it's a good, okay, this is actually still a solid contender in this case. At least in my opinion. I can't really like both of these operators. I have a really hard time saying things bad about. Like the only thing I can say is they're like edging on possibly overpowered, but I really can't say that for any of them. You know, we had such weak operators come out with Phantom Sight, and honestly, in my opinion, Ember Rise. You know, it's like we had these like really kind of mediocre at best operators pop out of these 2 seasons, but then they at the beginning of the year and the end of the year they got these real zingers that are like great for the meta, almost perfectly balanced when they come out. Like I don't know, I think they really hit the head with these two operators.
I mean, I know pros would probably disagree about the Goyo. Every on Twitter, I see lots of pros being like, "Goyo's broken. He needs to have his shield removed."
Well,
But
and
on
that's
hard
kind of
level, Goyo hasn't wrecked my day yet. I mean, I haven't
I
had a match where it's just
who
like,
plays
broken.
Goyo really.
No one.
Like
Yeah.
that's the thing is Goyo's kind of in a place where we're waiting for Pro League to come out with plays on him because like
Tell us how to play him, please.
yeah, exactly. Because like the percentage of the population that's gonna be able to play 16 hours a day that has the time to test Goyo isn't playing just Goyo, but it's literally on pro players to make those types of strategies where it's like, this is a new operator, what can we do with him? So it's almost their job to present that to us as a community, in a roundabout sense.
Yeah, I agree.
But we're just waiting. I think we're all sleeping. I think even me, like, I'm throwing myself in that category. I think I'm sleeping on Goyo, honestly. But that's just me.
Yeah. No, same. I mean, I haven't used them much. I want to because I love the Vector.
The Vector's really good. The TCG, like, the thing about Goyo is put him into any situation, right? You need somebody who with a potentially fragging power gun, you got the Vector. Put him into a situation where you need to open up sightlines, you got the TCG, which is a fantastic gun. And then you've got, like, the P229. The only reason why nobody uses it is because it's on an operator that has the Bearing 9 as a secondary. So, like, it's a fairly solid secondary. He also has access to a Nitro Cell, which is nuts. Like, Goyo's another one of those with, like, a really good kit. I just don't know the full potential of his ability.
Yeah.
So,
and I think he's on, I know we're getting off of topic, but I think he's usable. I mean, definitely next season. I don't know about US Nationals. Like, I remember hearing at OGA Pit, they're not going to allow him in.
They didn't.
Because the qualifier started without him being playable.
Right.
Which makes me think US Nationals, he won't be in either. Because
I don't think
doing
so.
That now for like 2 months or something.
I think the first time we'll see Goyo in any Pro League setting would be the start of season 11.
So that's like January.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I think like January 3rd or 4th or something like that. Okay. Well, we can go ahead and kind of move on from there. I don't want to get into OGA quite yet. I kind of want to save that for last.
You want to talk about Theme Park?
Yeah. Let's go over Theme Park real quick.
Yeah, we can't miss Theme Park.
I think you've played a little bit more of Theme Park than I have. What do you think of it?
I like it because I like the old Theme Park. Not on a competitive level because my opinion on competitive play is probably not super valid at this point, but I mean, it's definitely, I enjoy it. I think getting rid of Train was a good move. That whole other half of the map, whatever the tertiary site was, like Initiative or whatever they called that one, it's actually like more usable. The throne room seems really tough to attack. That site downstairs that used to be like the spooky room or whatever.
I do not like that one.
It's hard to attack it.
Honestly, so this is going to be a bit of a hot take because I know people really love the new theme park and a lot of people are praising it. I thought personally that when Theme Park came out, Theme Park was boring. And while this new theme park is better, it's still boring. Whenever I play the map, it's not like I hate it. It's not like Chalet or Skyscraper or Hereford or any of those where it's like, oh my God, please get me out of this match. It's not like that. It's more of, oh, it's Theme Park again. Okay. That's like all I get. That's the only enjoyment I get out of it, honestly. I wish I could say something more than that, but it's just red. That's what it looks like to me. I find it a little like, I know how to get around only because I know old Theme Park, but I feel like to new players, I feel like it'd be kind of confusing to get around. I mean, but what map in Siege isn't? I don't know. I just don't have any like.
No love for the theme park.
I don't have an opinion on Theme Park. I really don't. Like,
so you don't even hate it. You're just indifferent. Like,
I'm just completely indifferent. It pops up, I'll play it. All right.
The one thing that they did really well with the rework, I feel like, is they got rid of all of those window into objective line of sights. Like on the second story kids dorm side, you can't just peek from that window on the balcony straight in. And same with down in the drug lab, you can't just peek straight from that window all the way into sight. So
that was one thing that was really good for me, like getting rid of that. Also making a secondary exit to get out of Cafe was a really good move too. Because Cafe was one of those. Yeah, there's a lot more vertical play, which is good. Like, they're all good changes. The one thing I would say that I really don't like about the map is instead of doing something with the main entrance, they just blocked it off, which I feel like was kind of lazy, in my opinion, if that makes sense. I know why they did it, because there were a lot of sight lines that you could get. There was a lot of running out that happened out the main door. I know why they did it, but it still feels lazy to me. It feels like, okay, well, we're just going to block it off. Instead of like, okay, we need to move this door or we need to create something outside this door. Like, Like, for example, think if they made like an airlock instead, right? That like a double door system, kind of like on Chalet into the dining room. Like, kind of do that sort of thing, and then it would cut off a lot of those sight lines because it's too long. Something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly, but I just feel like cutting off the main door was a weird move. But besides that, I mean, like, all the changes they did, I think, were for the better. I'm not saying that. I just, like, the map as a whole,
Yeah.
maybe I haven't played it enough.
I also haven't played it in ranked really at all.
That's
I
true.
don't think. Mine's all just been like that playlist.
Yeah. Which is, yeah, we got some good clips there, but besides that, there really wasn't. We kept playing the same site, and it was that throne room one that's so hard to push without coordination. I feel like there's probably some vertical play spots you can get, but like,
Probably.
people have like free reign in that room, and like they can do whatever they want and move all over the place. So I don't even know where the places to play are. So
And I didn't even check, but like the most important thing that hopefully they fixed was being able to vault from the roof onto that little like balcony outside of Delhi on the second floor, where you used to have to rappel those like 4 feet drop the 4 foot drop that's there.
God, I hope they
I
fix
hope they
that.
fixed that. I haven't checked yet though.
Like that one spot on Coastline. There's that one jump from Hookah Balk where you have to rappel down. It's like, why do I have to rappel this? I clearly won't take any damage.
It's like 3 feet.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. They're doing a good job fixing maps in general, but like, again, theme park, like, it needed fixed. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I just didn't. Yeah, this one's just whatever. I mean, Canal, like, we have our problems with Canal where like it's super hard to get in on attack, but a lot of people are saying it's okay. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I think overall they're doing better. I mean, as long as we don't end up with a Hereford, I'll be okay.
I think they learned their lesson, hopefully, it seems like, from Hereford.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
And of course, the best part of this season is no more skyscraper and rank.
Listen.
That is the best part of this season.
It's
Everything
true.
else I don't care about.
You're right. But now Chalet is the new skyscraper.
It is. There's always going to be the new skyscraper. Like, even if they get rid of Chalet, everyone's going to be like,
right. You're right. It's the lowest common denominator, right? Like, there'll always be one. But at least in my opinion, the more you go into that, like, I don't know, like, the more you go into that, the lowest common denominator will get better and better. And then suddenly, like, the worst map on there will be, like, I don't know, just throw out something like Bank or something like that. You know, like, and if Bank's the lowest common denominator in ranked, okay, sue me. That's fine. So I just want them to continue to, like, start weeding out those maps or fix Chalet. But I didn't say anything.
That would be nice. Fixing Chalet would be.
Fixing Chalet would be really nice. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. We already talked about the hot breach. Before we go into the esports side of things, let's talk very briefly on the Zeronic ban. What are you thinking there?
I don't know if I really understand exactly what happened. So there was someone that was trolling whose information was already out there in public, and he just called the troll out. Is that really what?
That's what as happened? Far. I did a little bit of a deep dive into the stuff on Twitter, and besides that, there's really not a lot of information because I wasn't watching during it. But as far as I understand, it's against Twitch's terms of service to give people's public information online, or give people's like name and address and all this kind of stuff. And as far as I understand, this person somehow goaded him into saying that information, like, had been bothering him for months just to get him to say it. And then as soon as he did, he had a mass report ban or mass report wave and was ready to take him down. I think that's probably what happened, because that does happen quite a bit where, like, there's people who are just looking to get rid of people. So they'll just, like, look for some way to... He probably couldn't find any dirt on him before and was looking for some way to make some. Happens. Yeah. It is sad, because it's like, it's kept him out of USN as well, which is nuts.
So I know that his ban got reduced. I don't know when he's back up and running though, but I did see he tweeted out, something about he'll be back soon. but I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. But apparently, in his absence from Twitch, he's making some killer YouTube videos.
Oh yeah, no, I've watched a couple of them. They're pretty nuts. Like they're good. He's got one that's like a video specifically on how to use sound. There's another one that I watched, but I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, he has like a siege and review video where he goes over like old clips from like 2016 onward. So yeah, he's made some pretty good stuff. I think it can only serve to help him in the long run, because I think that's one part of his content that was really suffering, is like YouTube videos and like external content. So I think it'll help him in the long run, personally.
There's only so many hours in a day. I mean, he's streaming all the time.
Literally, if I wake up at 5:30 in the morning getting ready for work, like, he's the only person that's streaming. It's always it's like Zoronic and maybe Doki's on. So I don't know. I think that it is sad because, like I said, it kept him out of USN. But besides that,
well, and I mean, I know we're on the platform Twitch at the moment, but they need to start getting consistent and like what deserves a ban, what doesn't, who to ban. I mean, Zoronic getting trolled to the point of breaking that rule, which sure, like he even admitted like that's not a great thing, you know, in general. That's bad. A girl being, I don't know how much PG we want this this podcast to be, but a girl and her dog, everyone knows I'm referring to.
Yeah,
that's okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Eating the cat, getting the cat drunk, all these things are okay. I mean,
and,
you know, yeah.
So I'll send you this video, but the guy they had on the Hot Breach podcast, Devin Nash, I've been watching him a lot, and he did like a quintessential like what Twitch's safety and trust department does, and it's really kind of insightful on the whole situation. Essentially, what happens is like they do evaluate, you know, like what led up to this moment, how is it portrayed, how bad is it, that sort of thing. That does come up. So yes, it is. I agree. There's like a certain level of inconsistency, but I almost feel like that inconsistency is mostly due to like staff. It's not that Twitch doesn't want to enforce it, it's that they don't have the ability to enforce it, if that makes sense.
I could see that.
Yeah, because I mean,
but she's such a like big. I mean, she's a partner, and like.
Well, and that was the other thing that he was talking about, was like basically what happens is there's their own mini version of court, right? So the trust and safety, I think is what it's called, department finds an offense, it comes up with a sentence, right? Like, we're going to ban this person, we're going to kick this person from Twitch, we're going to get rid of them, we're going to ban them for 30 days, something like that. And then that person's account manager, especially like bigger people all have account managers, basically appeals against them. So that account manager reaches out to you directly for any information that you can give them, and then they take that appeal to the trust and safety team, and then they kind of like decide from there, okay, so we're going to lessen this, we're going to let this one slide, we're going to, you know, not kick the person, like something like that. So it's kind of like a mini version of court inside Twitch before a ban goes through, which is why the time frame can sometimes be so off. But I don't know, there needs to be more transparency about how that process works and like how your account manager is going to help you, because I agree. Do I think that this person that we both know who we're talking about needs to be kicked from Twitch for those offenses? Absolutely, because they're horrific. But what my guess is she was able to convince both the trust and safety and the account managing team that it wasn't nearly as bad as an offense. That's just my opinion. I don't know if that's the case, but I agree. There needs to be transparency. And I mean, all media platforms suffer from this. And from a perspective where they need to have it, right? Like, all media platforms need to have this transparency, but YouTube's bad at it. Twitch is bad at it. Mixer isn't great at it either. Facebook Gaming is notoriously bad at it. Like, they just don't update anything. They just do it all randomly. So, I don't know. I think that all media companies just need to get better at transparency and communication with their audience. I think they just got in a popular place and they don't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
So.
Could be.
Not sure, but at least as
So
far as
hopefully
that's.
Zirconic will be back up and running soon because
Oh yeah.
he's a solid dude.
Yep. I'm sure he will, and stronger than ever. That's just the way he is. He'll grind it out. Okay, so let's go ahead and throw ourselves into the OGA pit. Let me go ahead and pull up our results here.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put you on my screen just so. There he is.
Ooh.
Yeah, one
Okay.
day I would love for us to like figure out how to get like. We'll talk later, but yeah.
Okay.
All right,
All right.
OGA pit. Woo!
OGA pit. All right. Any first impressions?
Dude, I mean, you can't not talk about Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, and I guess the big favor that didn't come to fruition. I mean, the
Mhm.
big favorite.
Let's
So
not.
my
Yeah.
first thought, honestly, and I told you about this when it was happening, but I was super irritated because I was trying to watch. I didn't want to just sit at my desk and watch it.
Mhm.
And Twitch has been pulled off of like Samsung smart TVs and stuff. So I was like, okay, I'll watch it on my phone. And like the English stream would only run for like 20 seconds and then say offline. So I ended up watching all the finals. I got to watch some of the day 1 and 2 matches, but all the finals I watched in French on my on my TV. And je ne parle français. Like I don't speak French. I mean,
Right.
je parle français un peu, but no, I don't understand anything they're saying except for like garage and space station
Mhm.
gaming and stuff like that. So the experience was not amazing to watch it.
Yeah. And I think that was one of the common themes that came out of OGA is like the event itself was good, the venue was good, but like there were so many technical difficulties. It was bad. Like there was a 5-hour wait time between I think it was the first match and the second match or something like that. But like that just can't happen. Apparently the first match they actually had to run on they had to run online instead of on LAN. Just because the build wasn't working. So yeah, that's just nuts. I can't believe I think Veli was saying it on his on the flank yesterday. It's just like we can't have this happening in Myers. Like Siege is now a tier 2 esport. We can't continue to have this happening. And like I had to watch the entire thing in 360p on my Xbox. Like it did not go any higher than 360p. And I'm sitting there trying to watch a blurry game, and it was just kind of annoying. So I don't know, like. It was a good event, but plagued with these technical difficulties, making it extremely difficult for most people to watch in an event that's already not going to get the viewership. I don't know. It's not great. Not a great look.
But like, why didn't they do an English broadcast on YouTube? Because that's how I was watching it. Was actually the French broadcast on YouTube. So and Portugal or Brazil. Brazil had it on YouTube also, but for some reason English wasn't a priority.
And that just seems so backwards because like. Out of anything, English is the second language out of all of those for most people. I understand that there is a very large French and Brazilian audience, so it makes sense to have those languages mixed in there, but I don't know why the English wasn't on there. Like, and then there was a Japanese stream on Twitch as well that was running just fine. And I don't know. That really does bother me, but I don't want to talk about that too much, even though like I think it is a major point. I think it is. Yeah. I will say it is major importance to make sure that these minors are working properly. That should be like priority number 1. But anyway.
And this was a pretty big minor because you got an invitation slot. Which
exactly. Yep. And that's what was on the line.
I know your favorite G2. We probably need to talk about. I don't know. Do you want to go into detail now, or do you want to
save let's talk about G2.
So I gotta say, I was watching. So I rewatched because you showed me where the VODs were. So yesterday, when I was home sick after the procedure, I was watching them versus MIBR. I watched all 3 maps, and I was getting flashbacks to like EG. Like it's like almost EG's infected them or something. Like they're up, and then something happens, and they just get slammed.
The clout gets to their heads. That's what happens. Siege clout, it corrupts you. It's like the dark side. I don't know, like that. Okay, I understand that they have a new player, right? And I understand that Uno still hasn't really like super well adjusted to the team. He's fairly new. But we're talking about Kanto and Pengu, who are quite possibly two of the best players in Rainbow Six, at least on the charts, right? And Fabian, who's, I wouldn't say Fabian's like a fantastic player, but he's still very good, right? Like I'd say tier 2 player.
You wash your mouth out. How dare you?
Listen, my Lord and Savior Fabian is not the best at the game. He's the best at sarcasm. I don't know. But, like, it's so tough to be a G2 fan right now just because of, like, that. Like you're just watching them choke and choke and choke. And it's EG. You're exactly right. Like, that's a great comparison.
Yeah.
It's like...
Literally, I know exactly.
It's like being a... It's like being an EG fan. It's like, no, I don't want to continue to watch my team choke. I just want to give you flashbacks. Oregon white stairs. Sorry. But no, I mean we're getting to that point. I'm just waiting for G2 to have their own moment like that, right? Where they just choke and fall off a ledge. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, unless they get their shit together. I hope that Kryn is a fix for them. I hear that he's not their first pick, which is sad. But
I don't think he performed that poorly from what I saw, at least I mean, we only had one game to look at, right? Because they got out in the first round.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. But,
Yeah.
like, I mean, it didn't seem, at least, so the first map being Villa, I mean, he was fragging. There was a couple rounds that, like, he had two frags, 3 frags. I mean, it didn't seem like he was the problem.
I don't think so. And as far as I'm hearing, like, MIBR came to Europe, as far as I understand, to boot camp. And so they played G2 a lot, and they said we learned more from G2 in 4 matches than we have 6 months in LATAM. And I think that MIBR just brought, like, okay, so this is also going to sound like I'm shitting on G2. This is my favorite team, everybody.
It really is. He's not just saying that.
my sledge is beautiful. My sledge is beautiful. No, but I think G2 gets really cocky about teams a lot. Like, they're like, oh yeah, we can definitely beat them 100%. And I think that overconfidence, like, sometimes translates into overconfidence. I think MIBR decided to show the fuck up. Like, I think they actually decided, okay, we're going to actually play. Like, I'd been sleeping on LATAM. Like, that's my first impression of everything, of the OJ pit. I was sleeping on LATAM the whole time. Like, I did not think that they were going to come and, like, wipe the floor with everybody's corpses. But I think MIBR just decided, okay, we're here, we're going to play. And G2 was not expecting that. I think they were expecting to play like the second worst team in LATAM, which is what they were by the end of the season. So, I don't know. Yeah. I think that took them by surprise, and MIBR played against them enough to learn their tactics, and it just led into that. So,
yeah. I don't even know what exactly happened there.
I think the biggest EU stinker is BDS getting beat out. Like, that's nuts to me.
Who did they lose to?
They lost to Liquid, which makes sense because Liquid didn't just decide to wake up. They decided to go Super Saiyan and, like, crush everybody across. Like,
yeah, they won it absolutely.
Yeah, they did not. I'm looking at the bracket right now. They did not lose. Like, they did not lose a single series. Even MIBR, who made it to, looks like the semifinals. Yeah, I mean, like, even then, MIBR made it all the way, but they lost a round. Like, they finally did lose. They lost twice in a row. So, I don't know. Very interesting to see BDS go out. I think that was everybody's, like, sleeper, like, what they wanted the upset to be run was BDS. But, I mean, we definitely did not expect Europe to go out so quickly. Very interesting.
No, I mean, because Europe tends to, I mean, like everyone knows who actually watches the pro stuff. I mean, they tend to be the powerhouse.
Yep. It's like Europe's the one.
The joke. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, North America's the joke right now, right? Because, like, I thought LATAM was the joke because, you know, we have teams like Airwolf, which are actually deciding to finally show up. We got, like, the new Fnatic, which looks really good too. Since they picked up Mentalist off of Airwolf. Like, Fnatic looks good, so APAC's starting to show up. So I thought LATAM was the joke, and then Liquid and MIBR decided they're like, no. What you guys don't understand is NA doesn't have any idea what they're doing right now. No idea.
I think they do. Well, we'll get there, but I think NA has a hope in Dark Zero and TSM. Honestly,
yeah, I agree with you. But
Dark Zero is scary. But
Dark Zero
we'll talk about them.
Very scary right now. But yeah,
So with
let's
OG and Pitt, like, I mean, so do you know what? Okay, so like we all saw the memes of the Space Station Gaming and the Canadian. What
mhm.
actually happened? Like, there's something about a good mouse play. I'm not exactly sure what all that was about, but
Most
I know there was some stuff going on.
Canadian was very inconsistent the entire time. So sometimes he would be able to pop off and get like win rounds, but then like he wouldn't get a kill for another 3 rounds. So I think that's more what they were talking about, like good mouse play. Towards the end, so in like the semifinals and then the finals, he was really starting to show some like 1vx's that he was winning and stuff. So he's starting to win where it mattered. So I think that's what they were talking about as far as the mouse play. I find it very strange, but also like as far as I'm understanding, Canadian's playing a support role right now, so that's not normally where he would play. So I think that's really getting to him. But also like he kind of has to because he's playing the IGL spot, right? Like he's playing
Wow.
for this team as the IGL. At least I think he is.
And he's a notorious hothead.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
I should say no. What I should say is he's notoriously emotional. Like he
Mm-hmm.
goes with his emotions. And I think that video that we saw that people like dubbed over, you know, the whole like
That one was great. No,
Yeah,
fuck go.
yeah, that was funny. Those of you
Yeah.
who haven't seen it, I'm pretty sure I shared it on Twitter.
Yeah, it's
funny.
pretty great. Yeah, but I mean, it's really sad to see Space Station go down like this again. Because, like, everyone says, oh, yeah, Space Station is a good LAN team. Good LAN team. I'm going to put down a hot take. I will not say that Space Station is a good LAN team until they show me they can actually win something. Listen, I haven't been watching that long.
In your book, they're better at LAN than online, but they're not a good LAN team.
I'd say they're better at LAN than online, but I'd say they're like not a top tier LAN team, no, because I've never seen them get any more. Like, it is impressive to be able to make it to the quarterfinals in the first place, right? Like, I understand that is a feat in itself, and I just found out today. I didn't know this about Pro League. They get paid for just being there, so like you get like $4,000 or something like that.
Yeah, most of them have a salary, and then I think they get like a commission, like a cut of any winnings. But most of the big teams have a salary. Yeah.
Right. So like that's good and everything, but boy oh boy is it really tough to see like this NA team. And I've been somewhat of a fan of Space Station, watching them in games, right? Like hoping, oh, okay, this is an NA team that's gonna go places. Show up, win. You know, it's like I don't know. Yes, I've only been watching for a year, so maybe I didn't see them do something super impressive, but win a
You're not wrong.
win a series. That's all I'm telling you.
Wrong.
Like,
no, I mean they haven't been like a top 2 North American Pro League team, and then in LAN, I don't think they've won a LAN event to my knowledge. I haven't been watching since the beginning, but I've been watching like a year and a half, maybe 2 at most.
Which is when people are. I think most people say like that's when Pro League really started picking up, was about 2 years ago. Yeah. But like you guys, you gotta show up, and not to say that any of them are not talented, because they are talented players. Canadian's an incredibly talented player. Bosco's a talented player. It's just like as a team, win something. Show me that you can actually play. And yeah, again, like I'm not trashing on the team. I think the Space Station does a good job. They're the gatekeepers of NA, right? Like they're not a top tier team, but they make sure that none of the lower people make it into the top tier. You know, like I don't know. It's I just want Space Station to win something. I want people to stop praising them and actually watch them win. It's like Dark Zero made a run to the grand finals in the Pro League, but they haven't won. And that's why like I'm always like, okay, Dark Zero looks scary. You know, Rec looks scary. Luminosity looks better with who they pick up. I know it starts with an S.
It was Skies?
No, that was Dark Zero.
There's so many damn players. It's kind of
something hug. Why can I not think of it? Like Slash. Yeah, they picked up Slash and they look better. But like, you guys have got to show up. This is why. This is not the whole reason why. I just happen to fall in line with those teams. But like, I'm an EU shill. That's because we actually win shit. Of course, my hopes and dreams were shattered for OGA, but for the most part, we win shit. Like, I'm a Navi and a G2 fan. It's like, but it's tough to watch NA because I want NA to win. I've been rooting for TSM as soon as they got picked up, but
well, and this is the struggle with esports the way it is right now. And I mean, I think the reason I can hang on to EG and support them is because I used to be a Cubs fan growing up, so I'm used to being a fan of a franchise that gets
So you're used to being the fan of a fan of a team that's the equivalent of someone's father running away for 30 years.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. But so like the tough part with esports, especially in Siege, and I guess this is probably across the board, is it's not like teams are locally based. So it's not like I'm from Virginia. Oh, there's the Richmond whatever. Oh, I'll support them. So do you just pick a team and stick with it, or do you follow players? So that's kind of, I feel like, part of the struggle too with this is it's,
Yeah, it is a little tougher because I feel like I have a hard time keeping up with players in esports, but that's just because I don't have like the time to put into everything. So I know like a lot of really big names, but I couldn't tell you every single player that's on every single team. But like, it's even less with sports if I was into that, right? Like, I'd be able to follow it even less because there's even more players. There's like, how many players is there on a baseball team? Isn't there like 16 to 20 players?
It's something like that.
Yeah, like there's...
Yeah, because I mean, on the field alone, you have
8 at any given time.
More than that, because you have catcher, pitcher, shortstop, the 3 basemen, the 3 outfield. So 3, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9 players at any given time.
Yeah, and then that's not the whole team because you also have your batters.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I think it's like somewhere between 12 and 16.
Football team, you have even more because you have the offense, the defense, the special team.
Yep. Yeah. So it's like even harder to follow up with people. I don't know. And like, what did I think it was Flynn on the B Leaguers podcast who said like they're more accessible. These players are more accessible. Like, you watch them stream, you talk with them in chat, you're in their Discord. Like, it's really tough to choose between a team or a because that's the way it is with G2 right now, right? Like, it's like maybe it's 2 years down the line, but it's only a matter of time until Pengu or Fabian or Kanto decides to go to a different team, right? Like, it's a given that's going to happen. So I don't know, do I follow Pengu because I've been following Pengu all this time? Do I follow Fabian because I've been following Fabian all this time? Or do I stick with G2? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure.
And that's the question. And that's why, like, for me, my number one, I root for EG. If they're not involved or out of it, I root for Dark Zero because you at least have, BC, Bacon. They were on EG when I first started watching pro stuff.
Right.
I mean, so, like, I like Space Station because I like Canadian, so you kind of, I don't know.
It's kind of one of those things. It's like seeing an ex that you don't hate, but you really don't want to talk to at the store. It's like, hi.
Yeah.
You guys, you're doing well. I don't know. Analogy. Yeah, it's tough. I haven't quite decided because I didn't grow up with sports, so I don't have like such almost like brand or like org loyalty, right? Like it's a little tougher for me because I'm just getting into esports. Like, Siege is my entry point to sports in general. I didn't really grow up enjoying it, so it's interesting. Not exactly sure what the answer is, but it's interesting.
There probably isn't a right or wrong answer here anyway.
No, I don't think so either. I think if you really like one specific player, you just kind of follow him no matter where they go. Because I know there's a lot of people who are following Doki right now, right? Because he's like on Na'Vi, but if Pi keeps doing a good job, then why would they bring Doki back, right? So Doki might become a free agent. There's plenty of people who follow him. Shaiko is another good example. He had such a huge following heading back into Pro League. So, I don't know. Not exactly sure what you do with that. But yeah, any other thoughts on OGA? Anything else to kind of throw in there besides people who were sleeping on LATAM? Liquid's a beast.
Good job, Liquid. See you at Invitational, I guess.
Sexy Cake has amazing hair. Yeah, I'm very jealous.
He's quite sexy, yeah.
Listen, Sexy
The, the name is appropriate.
The name is appropriate. He is so well composed on camera for not speaking English very well. Like, that was super weird. I was like, this guy's very confident about the fact that he doesn't, like, he's having a hard time communicating. It was great. I loved it. Sexy Cake was fun to watch. I mean, everything about it. Besides the technical issues, OGA was really good. I liked the fact that they had double elimination for semifinals. It was awesome.
That is nice. Yeah, how you have the loser bracket, you can work your way back up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So much better.
I do have one more comment.
Yeah.
Fans, chill the fuck out.
No kidding. They're nuts.
Yeah. Chill out. I understand you all have that like fiery Latin blood coursing through your veins. Simmer down, guys.
Just chill. Just chill a little. Yep, they did win.
Yeah, like you won. Like what's yeah.
They're crazy. They're nuts.
They're crazy.
Hey, but you know what? It's cool.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Okay, so this is not the bracket. Darn it! Show me the bracket. I'm trying to pull up the USN bracket. We're gonna do predictions.
So I made my own bracket, and I had to make two brackets because I made the how I wish it would play out, and then I made the realistically how it's probably gonna play out.
Okay, all right.
I made two. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do predictions on the fly. Hold on. Let's go. And there's no double elimination here. Where was that picture? Come back. Here we are. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Give me yours. So first game is Susquehanna.
Who the hell is Sonics even playing? Like who is
Tempo Storm.
Team?
That was Two-Faced. It's the org that picked him up. Yep.
I literally wrote down. Honestly, don't know who these people are. Is what I wrote down.
Yeah. It's Tempo Storm.
Okay. I'm gonna go Sonics.
Okay. Why is that? Just like a quick
comment. I didn't know
comment.
who these other people were.
Okay. Fair enough.
And I know who Sonics are.
Okay.
They picked up some Europeans. Europe typically plays better than North America.
And they're two very good players. I think they picked up some very good players. It's tough because Sonics has LAN experience, and I don't think anybody on Tempo Storm does. So this is a tough match for me, and I kind of want to see how Tempo Storm does. God, I just want to see Goddess win something. I
know, right?
I feel so bad for her. I'm going to have to go with Sonics. I think that their composure overall is going to hold them through. Do I think that we'll talk about that later, but
so the next one we got is Space Station Gaming and Dark Zero. What are your thoughts? That's a tough one.
Space Station Gaming's coming, and they're coming in tired because they just came back from OGA. They're going to be coming in on a plane, and they'll probably have 2 days maybe to recover. They're going to be coming in pretty tired for this match. However, Dark Zero has a roster that's fairly new and not LAN tested, but it's also extremely good players. So I don't know. So seeing as we have kind of we know what SSG looks like even from just a week ago versus Dark Zero and the potential that they could give off, I'm going to have to give it to Dark Zero. I didn't see, while they made it to the finals, right? Like SSG made it to the finals. I didn't see anything that was like so impressive that I was like, nope, nobody can stop them. I didn't see anything like that. The Liquid, I saw that, right? Like they're smashing everybody across the floor. Didn't see that from SSG. So I'm going to have to give it to Dark Zero. I just think the potential in the team's too strong.
So for Dark Zero, did BC stop being a player and is now a coach again?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, so who did they pick up instead of for BC? Do you remember?
Twitter, help me.
Oh, was it Skies? Is that who it was?
They picked up Skies in replacement for Nyx. They swapped those two. But I can't remember who they picked up to take BC's place. Hold on, I'm looking it up.
Well, while you're looking it up, I did choose. Oh,
they picked up Get Flanked for. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, in that case, I'm going with Space Station. No, I'm joking. While you're looking that up, I went Dark Zero also. I mean, you got Hot and Cold, who's never cold. You got Mint, who's scary as hell. Dark Zero is looking good. They're looking really good.
Mm-hmm. Man, I cannot find
And if you want to go off of Pro League season, they have a
Eclipse.
record against Space Station, and it doesn't
Eclipse
look good
picked
for
them.
Space Station. Eclipse, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if you want to just go off of last season, I'm pretty sure they beat Space Station both games.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dark Zero only like tied once. I don't even think they lost a game last season. Maybe they lost one. Don't quote me on that. But no, I went Dark Zero also.
Yeah, I think Dark Zero really has a lot of potential. And I think I think the real sleeper on this is, and the thing that nobody's talking about is BC is going to be so much happier as a coach because that's where he wanted to be. He didn't want to be a player. So I think that energy is really going to translate well to the team. We got Rec versus Luminosity. What are you thinking?
I went Reciprocity.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's probably more so just because I like them better as people. Like, follow on Twitter, they're funny. They got their shoe game is like off the chart. So I mean,
admit it, you're just afraid of Laxing's like biceps.
Dude, he could crush me.
He could literally take your head and just squeeze it.
He would fly while doing it because of those shoes.
Listen, you gotta wear Gucci shoes while you're crushing a man's skull. I don't know. Like, Slash makes Luminosity look good. I think Luminosity's looking good. Like, you can't. I understand Secret didn't really show up, but you can't beat Secret and not be somewhat impressive, right? Because Secret is an impressive LAN team. They really are. But we're talking about Rec. Like, Laxing is such a massive player. Fox is such a good player. They picked up Nyx, which I'm not sure how that'll mix in. They got rid of Mark and picked up Vertical, I think, which is a really good move. That Rogue roster is just, working their way back in. I'm gonna sound like such a shill. I gotta give it to Rec. It's just there's so much veteran, like veteраnism. That's not a word, but like you know what I mean. Like there's so much
experience.
That's the word. Thank you. Yes, lots of experience. Where Luminosity, there's still a lot of really young players. So, all right, TSM versus EG. Where are you sitting? Is this where the realistic versus the hope comes in?
It is. I mean, clearly, if as you can tell, I want EG to win. I want EG to win it all.
But they have Gotcha as a player.
Dude, in Pro League, Gotcha is undefeated in Pro League play on EG, not on.
Okay,
on
all right.
But on EG, he's undefeated in Pro League play.
Let me just.
I mean,
you're right. Yeah. You're correct. But they have Gotcha as a player.
Gotcha could whip both our asses.
I mean, you're right.
Listen, 1v2 them.
I am button analyst. I do not have skill. I analyze people who have skill.
No, in all honesty, EG got the bad end of that trade. Losing Geo to TSM is gonna hurt.
And this is gonna be
Gotcha, but
it's a clash, right? Because they dropped Gotcha, went back to EG. Geo moved over to TSM. Like, what's the blood gonna be like there? Like, is it gonna tension's gonna be high? We don't know. Like, it's gonna be. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Gotcha's probably happy to be playing because I feel like that's probably what he's always wanted was to be, a player for a bit.
It's the opposite of BC, right? It's like BC didn't want to play, but there he was, and Gotcha didn't want to coach, but there he was.
Mo Dig is really good.
Mm-hmm.
He's solid, and then you still have, NVK, Necrox, Young. I mean, it's not a bad team. Like, none of these teams are crappy, but realistically, I think TSM's gonna win, even though I hate saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah. So my realistic roster is TSM. My hopes and dream is EG.
Okay, fair enough.
What about you?
And it's a good.
On this?
I have to go with TSM. I think TSM looks scary. Merc is a fantastic player. Geo's a fantastic player. Bolo's a fantastic player. Achieved is a good player. Like, where's the bad part of all this? Like, TSM looks scary this season. I think that picking up Gotcha, especially after all that bad blood, is not going to translate well and not translate well quickly. So if it is going to be good, it's not going to pick up quick. I think it's way too soon for EG to finally get something in place. I think that TSM already had a solid hashtag when does Bolo play. I don't know. I think TSM just has a solid basis that EG has to work through some kinks. So I'm taking TSM on. Okay.
Sounds good. Yep. So then we got. So we both agreed on Sonics, didn't we? So it would be Sonics Dark Zero.
Dark Zero, 100%.
Yes.
I don't even have it. I don't even have. Nope. Because Super's not a good player. And then I have Rec versus TSM. You also have Rec versus TSM on your realistic timeline. You're separating into timelines. All right, Thanos, chill.
I am, yeah. So we'll talk the alternate universe later, but TSM versus Rec. I mean, I think TSM's gonna pull that out.
Hold on, I gotta go into quick trance real quick. I gotta go into my soul.
There you go. What is your soul telling you?
Rec pulls out 2-1.
Woo! You're even calling the round count too. I'm writing this down so we can
yes
next time. So you're saying Rec's gonna win 2-1.
I think Rec's gonna pull it out 2-1. I think that there's a lot more. While TSM is good, they've been in Pro League for most of those players have been in Pro League for a season, right? And while they have good pickups, again, they're very new to the team. Rec picked up people with more. I think Rec picked up more experience and also has more experience themselves. Like the players that are still on it have more experience overall. Plus Nyx has enough experience, and then Vertical has tons of experience being on Rogue. I don't know. I think Rec pulls it out in the end. I think that they just have the composure that TSM may not.
I think they have more experience at LAN also, don't they?
Tons more. Yep.
Yeah, I mean I think both teams have won a DreamHack. I think. I know
yes.
TSM did. I think Reciprocity did also.
Reciprocity did back a while ago. I don't know if they've won one recently. They did DreamHack Winter as Cloud9 last year, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, it's still close to the same team. It's still the same core. So,
much,
yeah. I take Rec on to the finals.
Okay, so then for you in the finals, you're calling Rec versus Dark Zero. He's diving deep, checking his cranium to see what's going to happen.
Get Flank gets on stage and smashes the trophy.
I can see that. That's how I do it. I just figured out how to have us both on the screen at the same time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, dude. This whole time I've had just my face on the screen.
Oh, okay.
I now figured out how to do it side by side.
Yeah, you just gotta Discord's a little funky with the webcams.
Damn it. All right, go ahead. What did you find?
Dark Zero 2-1.
I think see that.
I think Dark Zero looks scary, and I think Dark Zero looks powerful. And I think by the finals, Dark Zero is going to look even better because they'll have more LAN experience together by that third day. I think Rec looks good. I think Rec looks really good as well. They have a really solid basis. They brought in some new players that might bring new light to the team, but I just don't think it's going to quite be enough to top that scary-looking roster that Dark Zero is carrying.
Yeah, they look strong.
Dark Zero has a big old Pro League penis. Big old penis.
Big PP energy. And that's who I have to win it all is Dark Zero. Obviously, I want it to be EG, but TSM. If it is indeed TSM Dark Zero, I do think Dark Zero will win 2-1.
I need to put some sort of bet on the line. If a bet on EG being the dark horse in this situation, because I literally have no faith in them. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you and crush. I'm sorry I'm crushing your soul, but I have no faith in EG. EG going far in this tournament. I just really don't. But if they come up as a dark horse, I'm going to have to eat something I don't want to eat. Or I'm going to
So how far? Are you saying if they make it out of the first round against TSM, you'll have to I don't know, eat some sort of something that you don't like? Eat crow. You
If
gotta
they
go
make
hunt
it,
yourself and find yourself a crow,
okay.
kill it, defeather it, cook it. That's not realistic.
Crow's a little hard. I'm trying to think of something I
Yeah.
really don't like. I'm not like a super picky eater. Oh, I know. I'll eat a tomato on stream. I hate
There you
raw
go.
tomatoes. I hate raw tomatoes.
Yeah.
I will, if EG makes it to the finals, I will eat a tomato in the next podcast. A raw tomato right here.
You were brave. Well, I don't know. We'll see. That may not be too bad of a bet because
Again, I
they
have
had to go against TSM first. Like, could they have gone against? I don't even know who people are. That would have been nice if they got paired against them first. That would have been cool.
I think if there's going to be anybody who's the real big upset, it's going to be Tempo Storm. We don't know what they're capable of on LAN. We just don't. They're a big question mark. The only instance where we have like any real data on them in Pro League is the relegation match against Rogue. So I don't know. There's not a lot to see there. So like if anyone's going to run the upset, it's going to be them, personally.
Yeah. It'll be curious to see how it goes. I mean, honestly, if it's Reciprocity DZ in the final, DZ TSM, those are going to be good matches. Like, I think the USN is definitely going to be an event worth watching, and I plan on watching it this weekend for sure.
Same. Yep, definitely going to be there watching the whole thing. Probably try to pay a little bit more attention to it. OGA was a little hard to watch because I kept like the only time I watched it is if I woke up early on the weekends, so yeah, it was a little rough. Okay,
Yeah,
so the most important match that we need to predict. Who is going to win the Creator Show match? We have the Macy Jays featuring Macy Bay, Jay, Your Boy Roy, Varsity Gaming, Austanian, and Cross Archin. And then you have Linsanity, which is Sazlin, that one Brit, Get Flanked, Skittles, and Priest. Who's going to win?
That's tough. That's tough. I want to pull for Sasslin and Get Flanked, so I'm going to say them. Of course, realistically, I feel like, I mean, Macy J's a monster, so I don't know.
I think it all depends. So here's my prediction. It all depends on what version of Macy J we get. Do we get the casual weirdo Macy J who literally does whatever the fuck he wants to? Or do we get the tryhard Macy J? Because I honestly, every single time I hop into Macy J's stream, I'm like, I'm going to learn something from this very smart man, and he's playing casual, and he does some dumbass shit, and I'm like, what am I watching? So,
I don't think he streams ranked anymore. I think he only streams casual now.
It's easier to chat with people in casual because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, I go with Linsanity as well.
Sasselin's a beast, though. I will say, I've seen a lot of Sasselin. She's a beast.
Yep, I'm going to go with Linsanity.
Get Flanked is Get Flanked.
He's a platinum. Take this opportunity while you don't have a podcast to grind yourself out of platinum, you fucking casual.
Yeah.
I am
the one-time platinum artist. So
I don't have anything against Get Flanked, but I'm gonna trash on him this whole podcast, I guess.
I like Get Flanked.
Yeah.
He's actually what got me into Siege, really, but
yeah, he's a really big factor of what got me back into Siege after I took like a year-long break. So yeah, no, I think Linsanity is gonna pull through it. I think Macy J kind of overshadows a lot of this other roster. But I think like the overall smattering of talent on this one's going to be the bigger one. So there you go. All right. So I think we're going to kind of wrap things up. Next week, we're definitely going to be talking about what happens at, the USN finals. And then, we'll probably have some listener questions. So besides that, I know we covered most of the questions that Jack asked. I wanted to make sure that we cover those, though. Hold on just a second. Pull those up. Oh, that's why I can't pull up Discord, because it's right here. But yeah, well, if you guys have any questions, hop in our streams, hop in our Discord. We will have the answers for it. We will get you guys answers. There's a section in the Discord for asking podcast questions, so please hop on over there. Yep, we pretty much covered it, everything except like goals for the next 6 months. I'm pretty sure he's talking like personally. I really want to stick to this content grind, Like, I'm having a good time with it. It just gets to the point where it's like, you know, life starts to get in the way and other stuff. Like, I'm not busy right now, which is why I have so much time. So I really want to stick to it, especially when school starts. So
Yeah, no, it's been fun. I apologize to anyone on my stream. It looks like mine has been crazy unstable. So going forward, I may just rely on Motsy's stream.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Besides that, we will be back next week with the next episode of Vertical Play. And you guys, see y'all later.